First video of the new year, we're starting off 2018 with a horror film. Insidious: The Last Key is the fourth film in the Insidious franchise, and although I did really enjoy the first two Insidious films, the last one that came out back in 2015, I thought it was just like okay, and since I figured a couple years had passed, they kind of just buried it. But lo and behold, we got a fourth one now, and it's another prequel. But since I just got back from seeing it, I might as well talk about it, right? Like I said already, this is another prequel, but it's set after the last prequel, so it's set between, Chapter 3 and right before the start of the first Insidious film. And it's basically just another adventure where Elise, Speck and Tucker, they go on their adventure, but, supernatural stuff happens, and it just so happens that it's at a house that Elise actually grew up in. So at least she has a personal connection to this house, and she grew up in it when she was, younger, and it's not just her helping some random family like in the, the original, first one and the third one. If I had to start with the positive, Lin Shaye definitely has a really good performance in this film with what she's given. Sort of, at least to me anyway, seems like her character has become like the main focus for this franchise for the time being, since they keep focusing pretty much on her and her exploit, the stuff that she does. But she does a really good job with it. Like, she actually has a really interesting backstory, which also helps, kind of like build her character, even though they did it in reverse since they're doing prequels. Of course, Bex and Tucker are there too, and they have some really good scenes, on their own and with Elise. And, let's be real here, Lin Shaye is the star of this movie. This is her film for the most part. She's the main focus. This is pretty much all about her, and she does her best with what's given, like I said. That's really, all I can really say about it without, spoiling anything. Speaking of characters, the supporting cast in this film is really weak, and it really hinders the film as a whole. There's a couple other characters in the film that, you really don't care about because they barely get any screen time. And the ones you do, get screen time, Elise, Specs, and Tucker, they make it out fine. It's a prequel. You know that they're going to make it out fine because they appear in the later films. So there's really no stakes, because you don't care about these other characters that are new, and you know that the other ones are going to be fine. So it kind of just is one of the big hindrances as far as with prequels go, which is why prequels kind of are annoying sometimes. But, it is what it is. Now, this could just be me because I watch too many horror films, but I feel like this was the least scary of all four Insidious films. Yeah, PG-13 horror films aren't generally that in your face as far as scares go, but at least the other Insidious films were at least scary in some parts. There is the creepy imagery, and you get your jump scares, but there's stretches through this film where there's just mostly dialogue, and you kind of forget you're watching a horror film. And the worst part is, most of the good scares in this film were in the trailers, so it's kind of disappointing because you knew what was going to happen. So definitely don't watch the trailers, although if you're probably watching this and watching the movie, you at least saw a trailer. Who goes to a movie blind? Now, like in every film, there is a central, ghost antagonist. The first one was a lipstick-faced demon, second one was the Bride in Black, third one was the man who can't breathe. And this one, we have Keyface. And that's his name. That's actually what his name is in the movie. And he's barely even an antagonist, because he's not really in it that much. You would think he would be, because of the promotional material. But he's not. But he's very underused, except for in the final act. So it's kind of underwhelming, especially, how they deal with him. And the fact that they're going to win, because, Elise lives until the first one. I know, spoilers. But anyway, moving on to my score for the film, I'd have to give Insidious: The Last Key a D. Unless you're a really diehard fan of the Insidious franchise, I really don't think you have to see this film, honestly. Lin Shaye does a good job with what she has, but there's just so many other problems with the movie that, I honestly feel like this is the worst of the four Insidious films so far, and I don't know where they're going to go forward with this, since they're kind of running out of time between prequels to, she dies, so I don't know what they plan on doing. Anyways, thank you for checking out my review. Feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts on the film, what you thought, whether you agree, disagree, whatnot. Hit that subscribe button, and the next time, I will see you guys later.